francs. Et quelqu'un les a achetés, je l'ai même approché. Malheureusement, il n'a pas voulu me répondre. Je suis allé voir le préfet qui m'a expliqué un peu comment, c'est-à-dire que c'était un marché que les gens avaient négocié depuis Yaoundé. C'est-à-dire que c'est Yaoundé qui vient brader le patrimoine local comme ça. Et la raison que l'on avait donnée, c'était que, en fait, on avait vendu tout ce qui concernait la ferraille, le fer dans la maison, parce qu'il était question qu'on réhabilite le bâtiment afin qu'il devienne le district de santé de Tchang.
Voilà qui vient remettre au centre des débats la question de l'industrie pharmaceutique au moment où le pays, comme bien d'autres, subissent de plein fouet les frasques de la pandémie à coronavirus et dont les regards restent tournés vers l'extérieur en attente d'un salut qui viendra d'on ne sait où.
Dans le reste de l'actualité, signalons le calvaire de la famille Ayama du côté de Yaoundé. Un litige foncier oppose cette famille à un particulier. Face à son refus de vendre la parcelle de terre querellée, cette famille affirme être victime d'agressions au quotidien. Ces multiples plaintes auprès de la justice n'ont pas trouvé un écho favorable. Le reportage de Joël Essenguet et de Guizogo.
C'est l'histoire de cette veuve Célestine Kabana et de son unique fils Camille Ayangma Tchekami au quartier Essos à Yaoundé. Les deux, bien que propriétaires légaux d'une parcelle de terrain héritée de leur mari et père, sont réduits à vivre avec la peur au ventre, terrorisés par leurs voisins selon leurs explications.
Deux personnes sont entrées dans le camp. Quand je me lève, je constate que c'est ma tante qui vient avec deux clients. Elle est en train de monter le terrain. Bon, malheureusement pour elle, le client qui a monté le terrain, c'est un aladji. C'est moi qui l'avais sa voiture. Elle a fini de monter, je suis allé vers l'aladji.
Cette tentative de vente sera mise en échec, bien que leurs voisins voient les choses autrement.
C'est ainsi que le grand frère de Ndjengue Robert m'appelle qu'il faut que moi j'accepte qu'on vende le terrain et il nous trouve le client. Jusqu'à ce jour, je n'ai jamais réagi par rapport à ce qu'ils m'ont dit.
Dès lors, vont s'en suivre, dès 2011, nombre de brimades dont le point culminant sera atteint en 2014.
Quand je constate qu'on fait le bruit, je regarde, je vois la cour était inondée de gens. C'est ainsi que Ndjengue casse la porte, il entre dans ma chambre, je lui blesse avec la machette dans ma chambre. Il reçoit en criant, il m'a blessé, les gars se mettent à lancer les cailloux. Caillou est venu me prendre, je suis tombé. Lorsque je suis tombé, Ndjengue est venu avec la machette à l'instant, je suis tombé, il m'a frappé la machette ici là.
Selon les Ayangma, il n'y a pas que les menaces physiques, mais leur maison fait aussi l'objet de graves déprédations de la part de leurs voisins. À cela s'ajoutent aussi les menaces verbales.
Ce monsieur d'Ndjengue m'avait dit aucun petit-fils ne pénètre ici. Quand le petit frère d'Ayama prend son bac, il prend sa femme, la fille conçoive. La fille a accouché le 22 décembre. Elle est morte sans maladie. À peine Ndjengue me dit le 5 mars. Je veux vous montrer. La fille là est morte le 14 avril sans maladie.
Leur espoir, la justice, semble aussi être peu attentive à leur sort. S'ils ont pu in extremis sauver leur terrain, le tribunal des Kounou se montre, à les en croire, peu enclin à sanctionner ceux qui ont crevé l'œil de Camille Ayangma Tchekami.
Ce problème de l'œil était le 28, nous sommes partis, nous sommes rentrés, on n'a pas de date de renvoi. Quand son avocat est venu, il lui a appelé dehors, ils ont causé, le juge a fermé l'audience, c'est-à-dire nous nous sommes levés comme ça là, on n'a pas la date de renvoi, il calcule, juger ça par défaut.
Impuissants, les Ayangma se sont résolus à implorer l'aide des hommes de bonne volonté.
Parce que je suis orphelin, je n'ai personne, moi je n'ai jamais suivi un jour le chef de l'État dit dans ses discours que les orphelins et les veuves n'ont pas le droit de vivre. Je prie aux hommes de bonne volonté de me venir en aide. Parce que là, je suis là, ma vie est vraiment en danger.
J'ai demandé au peuple camerounais, qu'est-ce que je dois à Ndjengue? Donc au Cameroun, si tu es orphelin, on bravit pour toi, on te tue.
En attendant, si Madame Ayangma est bien déterminée à rester chez elle, son fils Ayangma, lui, ne passe plus les nuits dans son domicile.
À présent, les images de ce mouvement d'humeur des conducteurs de moto-taxi à Bamenda, dans la région du nord-ouest Cameroun. Des dizaines de ces conducteurs de moto ont pacifiquement manifesté dans les rues, notamment au lieu dit commercial Avenue, devant le maire de la ville à Choban. Tembampol, ils ont exprimé leur mécontentement. Les engins de plusieurs parmi eux ont été saisis par les forces de maintien de l'ordre lors du contrôle des pièces. Cette action de saisie est motivée par la montée des enlèvements et des agressions à bord des motos. Afin de mettre fin à ce mouvement de protestation, le maire de la ville les a réunis et leur a rassuré que les engins leur seront remis à condition qu'ils respectent les instructions des autorités locales. En rappel, lors de la dernière réunion sécuritaire tenue à Bamenda au mois de mars, le ministre de l'administration territoriale, Paul Atangandi, avait demandé à ce que toutes les motos à usage commercial soient peintes en jaune et les conducteurs munis de chasubles et du permis de conduire ainsi que de l'assurance. À présent, la deuxième partie de ce journal en langue anglaise avec vous, Fomi Armstrong Sanda.
Thanks, Nadine Yambo. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us in the second segment of news in the English language. We begin with the strike action in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Some workers of the Yaoundé Emergency Health Unit today went on a protest demonstration against what they qualified as unpaid salaries. They say the Ministry of Public Health employed them to work even at the start of the coronavirus pandemic. And of course, they were only paid for 1 week, and now 3 weeks after the money has not been paid to them. And of course, they say they are tired of working with that pay, indicating that officials of the Ministry of Public Health, however, encourage them to continue to work, but they have gone beyond what they could take. And of course, reports from Yaoundé indicate that an official from the Ministry of Public Health, however, came after the protest demonstration and promised that their money was going to be paid. The Minister of Public Health in Cameroon, Dr. Manahuda Malachi, is yet to openly react to the protest demonstration in Yaoundé. And the governor of the South region of Cameroon, Governor Felix Ngelengele, has warned inhabitants in his area of command who continue to go against the government's order of wearing face masks in public places in Cameroon that the law will take its course and they will have to pay duly. Felix Ngelengele was speaking in Kribi in the Ocean Division of the South region of Cameroon as he went on a sensitization meeting against the coronavirus pandemic. Immaculate Fogwe tells us more in the following report.
The application of barrier measures, notably the wearing of face mask, is yet to be fully implemented by all. The remark was made by the governor of the South region, Felix Ngelengele, during an evaluation meeting. One of those measures not being respected by the population is the wearing of face mask. Everyone has to understand that the anti-COVID-19 measures taken by the government of Cameroon is meant to protect us from infection. Felix Ngelengele made a tour at the Kribi Seaport and equally the Kribi District Hospital. While at the hospital, he observed that the health facility lacked the necessary hygiene kits that are meant to protect its personnel. The remark is being made at a time when 9 positive COVID-19 cases had been registered in the region. Council authorities, on their part, are multiplying sensitization campaigns in their different municipalities. Though the South region of Cameroon has not registered any death case of COVID-19, the population are called upon to respect government's anti-COVID-19 measures so as to prevent further contamination.
The inhabitants in the northwest region of Cameroon, observers across Cameroon have been expressing fears that the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon will be the next hardest hit regions with regards to the COVID-19 pandemic. Their worries are being backed by the fact that insecurity in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon is a stumbling block to inhabitants or individuals engaged in the sensitization of the local population on measures taken by the government of Cameroon and the World Health Organization against COVID-19. In the northwest region, the messages and kits against COVID-19 is taken to several conflict-hit localities by the military, as Mbustela tells us in the following report.
In Gokitunja Division, A litre of petrol is sold here at 1,000 francs CFA. This is the price the population is paying as the Anglophone crisis drags on. Goods have become more expensive as most roads had not been in use until 2 weeks ago. At the time, the country is fighting the spread of the coronavirus. Owning a face mask or hand sanitizer is regarded as a luxury in Bangolan.
I was free to the gateway. No place no day when they decide.
Help center. A bouncer bidon divide tempo oui for you. And say the one bidon over small stuff.
Quand nous sommes arrivés, nous avons constaté que beaucoup parmi eux n'arboraient pas de masque. Et puis les mesures telles qu'étaient prescrites par le chef de l'État, se laver les mains et la distanciation n'étaient pas respectées ici. Alors nous sommes venus d'abord, nous avons commencé d'abord par sensibiliser et leur dire quel impact cette maladie a dans notre société. Bien qu'ils vivent dans les milieux reculés, ils doivent être conformes à ceci.
Within the framework of their missions aimed at integrating the population in their activities, the 3rd Rapid Intervention Battalion, under the command of Major Hop Bear, carried out desensitization and distribution of 180 tap buckets, 46 cartons of soap, 42 liters of detergent, and 850 face masks to the population of Bangolan and Dop in a bid to fight the spread of the coronavirus.
For this specific instance, the whole country is bracing to fight COVID-19. So we're joining into the fight to assist our fellow citizens in remote places that have yet to receive some equipment. We are doing the same for our soldiers, and we just would like to extend the same to our fellow citizens for which we care very much. We expect those populations to trust us because we're out there. Our whole reason to be there is for their well-being.
The coronavirus pandemic is not the only Ngok Ketunjia division is facing. The Anglophone crisis has also had its effect on all, including Mr. Kwetong Henderson, Senior Divisional Officer from Ngok Ketunjia, who has not stepped foot in Bangolan since October 2019 when he took over.
It has offered me another opportunity to come to the grassroots of Ngok Ketunjia right at Bangolan. We have a lot of separatists who come here from time to time, and we made it very clear to the community that coronavirus does not have a friend. Even those who are in the bushes should heed to the head of state's advice to lay down their guns, come out of the bushes, and let us
region, that's the southwest region of Cameroon, element of the 6th Rapid Intervention Battalion, that's the B of the southwest region of Cameroon, headed by Colonel Ella Francis, has urged the population of Mbonge in the region to unite and fight COVID-19. They were making the call after a sensitization mission of the conflict-hit locality against COVID-19. More with Innocent Aze in the following report.
People from the crisis-torn region sitting at least a meter from each other. They are inhabitants from 4 villages making up Mbonge subdivision in the southwest region. Though in hardship, they have not been forgotten even at this time of another crisis, the COVID-19 pandemic. They have been brought out of their homes by elements of the 6th Regiment of the Rapid Intervention Battalion in the Southwest region to receive with soft heart these material gifts, including tap buckets, cartons of soap, face masks, hand sanitizers, and many more as weapons against the virus.
I don't feel affected again by the corona. We just thank the government and the military where they really give with this assistance for our village. In fact, we'll be very happy.
The military has to join the same fight to come to support the population. That's why we came with some items to help them follow the instructions that have been given by the government in order to prevent themselves from letting the coronavirus enter the village. We made everything today in this event to respect the social distances. That's why you saw people sitting 1 meter from others, from their neighbors.
The divisional officer from Mbonge and the Chief Daniel Mata Mokambe Mayor of the municipality urged the population to make good use of the hygiene kits and respect barrier measures put in place by the government in order not to be victims of the coronavirus.
I don't want to have to come here to carry, to quarantine or to carry some patients or some people who contracted the coronavirus. To try to help us to fight against the disease in Mbonge. I keep myself more than 1 meter away from each other.
On the part of the bees, still, they are not in Mbonge for war, but for peace and living together.
Even when the situation of security was very bad for everybody, you have always been standing ready to collaborate with the government, with the administration, and with the social forces, and with the defense forces to fight against that enemy, that common enemy that we have together. You know what I'm talking about.
Locals of the 4 villages making up Mbonge subdivision implored for basic social amenities, including passable roads, electricity, ensure return of peace for their children to resume school after the coronavirus, and for them to regain their farms.
And business operators in Ezeka in the Nyong-Ankele division of the Central Region of Cameroon have described as laudable the decision of the government of Cameroon to lift the ban on off-licenses, bars and leisure places, that is giving them the go-ahead to open their doors even beyond 6 p.m. Their views were sampled by our correspondent in Ezeka shortly after the measure was read out to the Cameroonian people by the Prime Minister, head of government. Immaculate Fogwe compiled their views in the following report.
Business activities have regained steam in Ezeka, Nyong-Ankele Division, Central Region of Cameroon. Beer parlors, snack bars and other leisure centers are now inundated with customers. The steam comes up few hours after the government withdrew the decision for bars, restaurants and leisure facilities to close at 6 p.m. Business operators of the area have expressed a sigh of relief following the new measure announced by the Prime Minister, Chief Joseph Tiangoute.
Je suis tellement satisfait de cette nouvelle qui est tombée à 17h.
I am very satisfied with the news. I am in one of those domains which had been greatly affected by the 6 p.m. curfew. The timing was not convenient for us because it is from 6 p.m. that we start receiving our customers. We have taxes to pay. We are thanking the head of state for uplifting the curfew. The economy had been greatly affected. We have families that are depending on us. Bar owners promise that they won't take the decision for granted as they will continue respecting the anti-COVID-19 measures taken by the government of Cameroon. According to the head of state, Paul Biya, the flexibility and support measures is meant to relieve the sector that has been badly hit. To some Cameroonians, the decision is not wise. They think opening bars, leisure centers and restaurants will rather expose Cameroonians to the coronavirus pandemic.
Cameroon's Minister of Public Health has explained why he rejected the gifts of the Suivi Cameroon Survival Initiative group and Professor Maurice Kamto, National President of the CRM political party, writing to Christian Penda Kuka, coordinator of the Suivi Cameroon Survival Initiative. The minister said they needed to pass through Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, Paula Tanganji, for due modalities. More in the following report.
Disappointed Christian Penda Ekuka as he left out of the Ministry of Public Health in Yaoundé, Cameroon. The president of the program Suivi Cameroon Survival Initiative says the gift of medical equipment he brought for the government of Cameroon in the fight against COVID-19 have been rejected by the Minister of Public Health, Dr. Manahuda Malashi.
Le ministre était bien dans son bureau.
Christian Penda Ikuka regrets that the materials destined for health officials and victims of COVID-19 should be rejected by a health minister who at the same time could be seen receiving similar materials and equipment from foreigners and other non-nationals. Ikuka, who was accompanied by some close aides, said they verified and confirmed the minister was present in his office but could neither grant them audience nor receive goods for reasons best known to the minister alone. The goods comprised 10,000 face masks, 6,800 specialized masks for medical officials in the fight against COVID-19, and 950 COVID-19 test kits offered by Professor Maurice Kamto, national president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party, as part of his personal contribution to the Suivi Cameroon Survival Initiative fight against COVID-19. The leader of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party said the goods were his contribution to the fight against COVID-19 as a citizen of Cameroon, Maurice Kamto. Christian Penda Ikuka on his part said he chose to hand over the goods to the Minister of Public Health because the goods were medical equipment and not goods meant for the general public. Shortly after the departure of Christian Penda Ikuka, Dr. Manahuda Malashi addressed the leader through a correspondent to get to the Ministry of Territorial Administration for certain proceedings and the eventual donation of the goods from the Suivi Cameroon Survival Initiative for the fight against COVID-19.
That report brings us to the end of this edition of the bilingual newscast on Equinox Television. We thank you for your very kind attention. Wishing you a blessed stay in the company of programs on Equinox Television. Nadine Yambo, have a nice evening.
Merci. Formi Armstrong Sanda, bonne soirée à vous également. Mesdames et messieurs, c'est la fin de ce journal. Merci pour votre aimable attention et passez d'agréables moments en compagnie de nos programmes.